Good morning and happy Sunday. Today's episode, we are diving in on Father of Black History, and he is known as Carter G. Woodson. I'm your host, Alexis, and this is Let's Gria's podcast. Let's dive in. Carter G. Woodson was a scholar whose dedication to celebrate the historian contribution of Black people led to the establishment of what is known as Black History Month, marked every February since 1976. Mind you that Black History Month was not a thing. He made it into a week on the second week, and we'll dive into why he did that. But it eventually became a month, so that's why it's significant because Woodson firmly believed that Black people should be proud of their heritage and all Americans should be able to understand the largely overlooked achievements of Black Americans. So when we speak on history, yes, history is not all glamorous and rainbows and what sort are away. But when you want to dive into it, my approach now, me being out of school and on and off college student and everything, I always want to find the root of where everything began versus just jumping in and then just studying and researching everybody and anybody or everything. So I decided with understanding Black History Month and the root of it, I decided to speak on the person who made it into what it is today as Black History Month. So let's dive in. So Carter G. Woodson was born in December 19th, 1875. He is also born the same month and day as me. That's crazy. He was he lived in New Canton, Virginia. So that's about maybe 2 or 3 hours away from me if I looked it up again, and it's an unassignment landmark or something like that. What's but let's dive into his family background. So his early life, Woodson overcome some obstacles to become what he is known as a prominent historian and author of several novels, books on Black Americans. So during his early years, during his youth, he had illiterate parents who were former slaves, and Woodson's schooling was erratic, where he wasn't able to attend school regularly on top of him supporting his family because his family actually moved to West Virginia and bought a farm. And during that time, they were extremely poor but proud. So he did all means to make sure that his family was secure, like any of us would do for our family members. So with his education, he knew that it could wait. So anybody that's out there feels like you need to have your degree now or you need to get it before you get a certain age, there's no age limit and there's no time frame of when you need to get your degree. Whenever you feel like you're ready, wherever you feel like life is sustained and you feel like it is that time or you have the opportunity, go for it. Don't let anybody stop you. And when it comes to family, of course, we all want to support and help out our family as much. And our degrees or anything like that, will come after. If you say family comes first, then hey, you would be in that sense of mind with him, is what I got off when I was reading about him. And as he was helping his family farm when he was young, when he became a teen, he started working in coal mines in West Virginia to help support his father's income. because obviously at that time, I'm pretty sure they did not have what we have where we get paid a decent amount where we can sustain life, but due to inflation, it's ridiculous of how to sustain life at this moment. But hey, we can pat ourselves on the back because we are here. We are in our homes. We are being fed and we have clothes. We have all sorts of necessities. So we should be proud of ourselves that we made it another year. And during that time, his hunger for education, he was largely self taught and he had mastered common subjects by the age of 17. And I can relate to this because I think at that time period when I moved out here, I would say I had to actually get myself to graduate on time. So, him actually going to school late did not stop him from getting his degree. He actually managed to get his diploma within 2 years after going into school at the age of 20, where he wanted to follow his brother's footsteps by going to Douglas High School, which was a secondary school that was African American founded. So that is the school of where he wanted to go. And interesting enough, after he got his degree, he actually worked as a teacher at that school and eventually became a principal before obtaining his bachelor's degree. And I find that just crazy because he went from going to school there, getting his degree, and then now teaching and being principal. Like, that is a double win right there. And with him actually getting from a high school degree and then going to getting his bachelor degree, that takes dedication because typically for now society, to get a bachelor degree, in most cases, unless you have the credits and stuff, it takes maybe 4 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Because associate's 2 years and then bachelor is 4 years. So he obviously he obviously had some achievements in getting that and whatnot third. So I give him props on that, as well as anybody else that is a fast, devoted person that wants to get degrees after degrees. I applaud you because half the time with our jobs, with having kids, getting married, or any life changing, we put those things to the side. But hey, we all can get there at some point. And after graduating from getting his bachelor's degree in literature from Brewer College in Connecticut, he became a school supervisor in the Philippines and later traveled through Europe and Asia. And I think at that time he was teaching, in addition of earning his master's degree in the University College. And he became the second Black American to obtain a PhD degree from Harvard University. And anybody that talks about Harvard, from my experience, makes that school seem like it is so top tier, but it is definitely up there. But I'm the type of person where I'm like, I get my degree, I go to the college that I want to get my degree at. But Harvard is definitely the top tier schools right there, because most people would talk about other colleges, but he definitely achieved that and going to one of those elite schools. So I give him kudos to that. Because to be honest, I'm actually working on getting my associates at Tidewater Community College and then eventually going to ODU. And then maybe in the future, might get a PhD in some type of science degree. But we will talk about that later. And moving towards him getting his PhD, he joined the facility of Howard University, eventually serving as the Dean of College of Arts and Science. Because he got a Master's of Arts and then a Bachelor's of Arts. So he was definitely on a roll when it came to any type of education and getting his degrees and stuff. So he was definitely on a roll. Because what's crazy, once we get out of high school, a lot, I noticed myself, we get into that habit where we like, okay, we want to go to college, but then we want to do other things like get a job, get a car, get an apartment, or get anything. But then we forget that we have that opportunity to get our degree. You know what I mean? And when it comes to having that opportunity to get that degree because you are already living with your parents, or you are having that, you don't have to pay any bills, you can just go to school and focus on that. That's a blessing in disguise. So anyone that's out there that is still in high school, I would definitely do that before you go into adult world, because adult world, I would say when I graduated, would have been more glamorous than what it is now. But he was driven to get his degrees, but also with him knowing Black history, he felt like it was being ignored. So after attending American Historian Association conference, despite being a paying member, Woodson believed that white dominant historians professions had little interest in Black history, and he saw African American contribution overlooked or even suppressed by the writers of history textbooks and teachers who used them. I don't know what how it was when it came to me growing up in elementary when it comes to like history and what history wasn't taught more and what, but I know we only have a short period of time, but I can understand back then it probably wasn't taught at all, or like he said, little, where you wouldn't even know anything about anything. So I feel like in a sense of way it was more of an approach of him getting it into school. So it is definitely a big factor of now how education is, where we actually learn about that stuff, especially during this time and month. So, for Black scholars to study and preserve Black history, Woodson realized he would have to create a separate institution structure with, of course, the funding of others. And Woodson founded the Association for the Study of Black Life and History in 1915 in Chicago, and described its mission as a scientific study of the neglect aspect of Black life and history. The next year, he started the Scholar of Journal of Black History, which is published to this day under the name of Journal of African American History. And moving forward to now where it's known as Black History, Woodson's devotion of showcasing the contribution of Black history in 1926 when he launched Black History Week. So when I mentioned earlier about it being a week and not a month, this is significant. In the second week of February, with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, and Woodson's concept was later extended into Black History Month. So it wasn't a month just automatically, it was a week, and it was a second week. But his legacy lives on every February when schools across the nation study Black American history, empowering Black Americans and educating others on the achievement of Black Americans. So, just speaking on this speaking on this individual and what he accomplished, I felt that it now makes sense in regards of how important it is to be able to take that time to educate and learn and be able to share from others, because at the end of the day we all come from different backgrounds and different environments and different aspects of life itself. So I can have someone that never heard of any of this stuff, and then I can educate them, and then they can educate me. So it's a sense of way of like learning within each other. So when I think of Black History Month and how it is today, I see it as a celebration of our heritage, as well as being able to be Black and proud of where we came from, and what we are today, and what people that helped us get to where we're at right now. Because it is important to go back and learn and educate yourself, as well as being able to take that moment and support people, especially like we have a bunch of Black owned businesses and Black companies that Black founded companies where we are able to support one another. And because there is a lot of things to go in depth. So with him, I felt like it was just more important to find that root, and find that root where it would develop in nationwide and not just in one area or one state or one county or one city. He wanted to be a global holiday. He wanted to be recognized as more than that. And of course, we can celebrate it any time of the month, but this is just significant because of what has occurred during the time that he was alive, because he shortly died in DC, where he actually taught in school on the age of 74 in 1950. And in a sense of way, I just felt like this is someone that I've recently researched on, and I didn't have a clue of who this man was, but I wanted to take time to educate myself and, of course, self learn about my own history, as well as telling people my own history, as well as voicing out my opinions, as well as being able to speak on things that I may not know about and someone can teach me. And it's a teaching moment, you know? Life is a teaching moment. And I just felt like with him, I just wanted to start off with this series by speaking on the root of where Black History Month came about and how it came about. So for now, we are going to close this episode out, and next week's episode, we are going to have a part 2 on a different topic. And I would just like to thank everybody for your support, as well as showing love on social media. And if you are new, just check out my episodes on YouTube and Spotify, as well as I post periodically on Instagram and at Lexcria Podcast. And I hope that you guys enjoy this episode. And for now, goodbye.